In this video, we're going to be going through all of the features included with the Metis 144 base model, as well as talking about some of the specific options that were included on this customized van. So let's jump in. Okay, so starting here on the exterior, the passenger side, I'm going to be pointing out some of the base features that are included with the Metis 144. That's going to include the exterior porch light. Gives you some nice illumination for getting in and out of the van at night when you're out camping. Also included is the fixed glass window on the slider door. Moving back further, we have the fiberglass extensions here. So these are fiberglass flares. These are installed on both the driver and passenger side. And these are going to increase the width of the vehicle, allowing you to sleep sideways in the van, which frees up more interior space. That is key for this particular layout in this model. All right, let's jump over to the driver's side and we'll show you some of the other key features that come with the base model Metis 144. All right, on the driver's side, we have an exterior outlet. It's gonna be a GFCI plug, gives you some outdoor power. So if you're doing some outdoor cooking, wanna hook up lights or anything exterior, you have that plug right there. We also have our shore power plug located right here on the driver's side. Is gonna allow you to plug the van in and charge up your batteries, as well as supply that 120 volt power directly up to your 120 volt breaker panel. That's going to allow you to then use this shore power to actually run all of your 120 volt appliances like air conditioners, microwaves, which are both options on this particular build. Run those directly off the shore power so you're not utilizing your battery power at that point. On the top of the van, included in the base model is a 330 watt solar panel, as well as a rear mounted fan. And that's going to be the Max Air 7500K model. So that one actually has the built-in rain hood, has a thermostat, remote control, auto lift, and auto closing. Also here on the driver's side, we have the driver's side flare. This is the extended depth flare. So it's gonna give you a max width in the van of 80 inches. Now you'll notice there's no window on this side, and that's because inside the van, the bed is oriented for people to sleep with their heads towards the passenger side. So your feet are gonna go over on this side. Also included on the base model is the driver side forward window. This is automotive approved glass, and it has dual awning sections here. So each one of these can be opened up. They have integrated bug screens inside. That awning style is going to allow you to have this open even in the rain and snow to maintain that ventilation and get you nice fresh air inside the van. All right. Moving on underneath the hood, standard on the Metis 144, we also include direct alternator charging off of the factory engine alternator. So you're gonna get about 120 amps of charging off of the factory alternator. This is going to charge the lithium ion batteries that are in the back, and it's one of the 3 ways that you can recharge the battery system. So that includes the alternator, the solar that we mentioned on top, and the shore power that's there on the back on the driver's side. Now, also included is a great safety feature, and this is a part of every Titan EX3 electrical system. This feature is the emergency vehicle jump start. So located here inside the driver door, we have a override button. Double clicking this button will temporarily, for 15 seconds, connect the lithium ion batteries in the back to the Mercedes battery that's actually located right here under the floorboard. Now, once you connected the batteries, you can jump start the engine, and the system will automatically take over either connecting or disconnecting the batteries. So now on to the inside, where we'll showcase some of the key features that are included with the Metis 144. So here we have our slider door extended galley. 2 things that I really love about this is the fridge location. So this is our drawer style fridge. So this is awesome by having it oriented in this way. We can access it from both outside the van as well as from inside the van. We can get to the freezer here, and there's even another little drawer that pulls out underneath, so you can keep everything nice and organized and get to all of your food if you're going to be doing outdoor cooking or cooking inside. You also have a slide out drawer up on top here. This is all going to be bamboo dovetail drawer boxes. It includes soft close, undermount drawer slide hardware on everything, and stainless steel marine grade rim latches. So here you'll notice standard on the Metis 144 is our 2-person couch. Now, this is with our new upgraded upholstery. So this is our high-end vinyl with our paneled insets here. Gives it a really nice finish, super comfortable, great place to hang out. You can use the Lagoon table here, so this also comes standard. And it's got a lot of versatility, so you can kind of swing this over, you can swivel this around. You'll notice that we offset that mount so that it kind of creates different uses, extends in different directions. You can lift and lower the height, and obviously you can also use this whole table setup with the front two seats here if you add the swivel seats. You'll notice underneath that we have additional storage, really nice deep drawer boxes here, and you get 2 of them, as well as the ability to access them from the top. So we've also included a flip lid here. So if it's easier, we kind of just create that cabinet to give you different options there. The cushions here, they're actually going to clip in. So we have our little clips right here. So you can actually just clip these right to the wall. And this is going to ensure that they don't go anywhere while you're driving. And then there's also clips that are going to allow you to clip that down right into the cabinet, so everything stays nice and in its place when traveling. Now, I mentioned this is what we call our pantry cabinet. It has some additional storage, so more drawer boxes here for whatever you need to store. And we've also have our cassette toilet that pulls out from down below right here. Now, this cassette toilet is mounted on 500-pound drawer slides. So this toilet can be used directly in place here. When you're all done, don't need it, go ahead and slide it right back and lock it up. Now, you can also use this as a step up into the bed. So we'll talk about some of the features there, but kind of gives you a nice way to get in and out of the bed without having to set up ladders or step stools. So kind of multifunction there, but is a great way to have a toilet when needed, but not have it take up a lot of space if you're not wanting a full interior shower like is offered on our Ultra 144 model. Overhead here, you'll notice we have some additional cabinetry. Now, standard on the Metis is going to be a 2-door overhead cabinet, so it's going to have an identical door to this, just in place here. This is our microwave, which is an option that we offer, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later on in this video. But overhead cabinet is always standard. It also includes some under-cab lighting. And this bar light, it's just got a touch button right there, makes it really nice and easy to get you some lighting while you're sitting here on the couch. Towards the back, we have another overhead cabinet. This is called our shelf cabinet. This has a nice big lip across the front of the cabinet here, so it's going to keep everything in place. So it's a great area for stuffing items, additional bedding, clothing can kind of go back there. As I discussed on the outside of the van, we don't have that window here because we want the feet to go down on this side underneath the cabinetry so that it still feels nice and open. You don't feel claustrophobic. That's why we keep all the cabinets on one side of the van, and you can do some soft, stuff sacks on this side that are kind of mounted to the wall if you want. But it's going to make it still feel nice and big and open over here so that you're not kind of walking down this little alleyway of overhead cabinets. So especially when you start getting bigger people that are taller, it can start to feel really small in these vans when you start adding too much overhead cabinet. And I believe the Metis, in my opinion, has lots of storage when you take into account all of the cabinets that are down below. So it really doesn't add a lot to have those overhead cabinets there. All right, transitioning back to the Galley, don't want to skip over these. These are all included standard in the Metis 144. So that's going to be our single burner induction cooktop. So induction actually utilizes magnets, and it oscillates the magnet on the cooking surface back and forth. So you need a pan that will interact with those magnets. So anything that's ferrous or has iron in it, so like such as cast iron, certain stainless steel, but they do make induction specific pans too that you can, will guarantee to work with this. But the way it works is because of that magnet flipping back and forth, the iron molecules inside the pan will also flip back and forth. That creates friction inside, at a molecular level, which actually heats the pan up. So it's not actually the cooking surface getting hot. Now, it will get hot because it's in contact with the pan, but as soon as you take that pan off, this glass is going to dissipate that heat very, very quickly. Now, the countertop material is known as a solid surface material. This particular is made by Avenite. It is relatively lightweight. It's very stable. So unlike butcher block, that's going to require a lot of maintenance. If it's getting hit by direct sunlight, especially being here at the slider door, it's going to warp, it's going to cup, crack. This will not. It is a very stable material, holds up really well, has a really nice look to it, and again is relatively lightweight for what it is. A large stainless steel sink down below. This is a 16-inch by 14-inch by 9 inches deep. So very large sink for van life. A lot of other manufacturers using these tiny little sinks with little flip-up faucets, and it just makes it really cumbersome to actually cook and clean and wash dishes. So we try and install on all of our van. This is our standard sink that is more appropriate size if you're going to be doing a lot of camping, cooking, or living full time. So I'm going to pull some of this stuff off, kind of show you all the different cushion sections, show you how this works. We can talk about dimensions and all of that with the bed. So now I got the bedding off there so you can kind of see how this bed system works. So we have 4 independent cushions here. Now, a lot of people are concerned that this won't be very comfortable, but the seams really land kind of right at like your kind of mid-back area where you're really not going to feel these at all. So I find this bed to be extremely comfortable. Never really noticed the seams at all, but it's a question we get a lot, so figured I'd mention it. We use a high-end foam. It's a 2-part mattress system, so we use a mid-density and then a 3-inch pillow topper, so this is a 5-inch cushion, very comfortable. These are machine washable covers, so you don't necessarily even have to use sheets on these. You can zip these covers off, throw them in the wash them if you need. It's a very soft material that we make these beddings for that reason. One thing I want to point out before I move these is you'll notice that there are no legs underneath this bed. So this particular model got a slide out tray. So that's an option that we offer, but there are no legs that impede your ability to have storage underneath. So up front here, we're actually utilizing the countertops themselves to give us support for the front of the bed, so no legs. And in the back, we have a strap here that's been tested to over 600 pounds, just the strap by itself. That secures right into the frame of the rear doors, which is extremely strong. So that actually supports the whole rear section of the bed. So it works really well to make sure that your cargo area is free and clear. It gives you lots of ability to put whatever you want underneath and not have to worry about these legs coming down or going up. It is a double Murphy, and we can convert it back and forth really quickly. So we'll flip up these side sections here. So I'm just going to tuck these off to the side, flip these up, and we're just going to go ahead and take that section and flip it up out of the way. We have our retaining straps right here, so you'll notice that we put a little additional clip here just to hold it once it's in bed mode, but then I can just release this, extend it, and clip it right here to the wall, and go ahead and tighten it down. So that's simple to go back and forth. See, nice and quiet. Not going to be any rattling going down the road. With those cushions right there, it kind of creates a nice little barrier. And there you go. That's converted. So now we got the full cargo space open. We can walk freely out of the back of the van. Okay, now we're going to start talking about some of the storage and the additional components that are housed here in these cabinets. We have more storage here. So these are the same open shelf storage here. It's going to allow you to have quick access to your gear. And the reason we didn't put doors on it is, again, so if you have bikes in here, motorcycles, cargo boxes, whatever, we didn't want you to have to swing those doors open and have clearance issues with opening the doors to be able to get access to that storage in those gears. So here, obviously we have a door on this one, but this is the inverter here, which is why we have all the venting here to make sure it stays nice and cool. But obviously you don't need to get access to the inverter very often, if ever, really. So we put a door on there just to kind of clean it up back here, but it's not something that you're really going to be storing a lot of stuff in because we want to make sure there's adequate ventilation to the inverter. Jump over here to the passenger side. This is primarily where the water system is housed. So here on the passenger side cabinet, you'll notice the lighting again, swivel lighting. Up top, we have the water heater. We got the electric water heater. So this is powered directly off the batteries. You do have to have the inverter on. It's a 120 volt water heater. It's a marine grade stainless steel. Very nice units. It's got some cool features. It actually heats up the water to about 185 degrees, which is a lot hotter than what you want coming out of the faucet right away. And so up top here, there's actually a pre-mixer valve, which allows you to set the max hot output. So that's going to mix cold water with the really hot water in the water heater to stretch that 4 gallons of hot water closer to 6 to 8 gallons of usable hot water. So that's a really neat feature. The lower you set the max hot output, the further you can stretch that water. So it's really up to you. Obviously, then you're going to be able to adjust the temperature at the faucet or the rear exterior wash, just like you can at your house as well. So this is just sets the max hot output. And so here you'll see the utility electrical panel. So think of this like the fuse panel at your house, something that, you know, every house needs, but doesn't need to be accessed very often, right? I mean, when something is going wrong, your breakers are tripping, right? You need to be able to access it, but really you're not having to get in here, you know, maybe once a year, twice a year, if that. And mostly if you're gonna be like leaving the van parked for extended periods of time, you might wanna shut the system down, which is very simple. But this is everything you need to interface with. We keep it really clean and simple. A lot of components going on behind here. This is all included in the base model and is standard for the Titan EX3 electrical system, which we've standardized on all of our models. It has been an extremely robust electrical system. We have had so few issues with it. It just works. It's very user-friendly. It's very intuitive. And it does what electrical wants for most people, which does what you want it to do. You got power when you need it. You don't have to do much else. So many great features here. So we've kind of talked about all the base options that are included, all the features. Now we're going to talk about some of those options that are available to add on to the Metis 144. Slider door bug net right here. This is going to give you some nice, oh, got the zippers. Okay, keep all the bugs out. You know, if you're going to be camping, it's really nice to be able to just leave this slider door open. You got a magnetic closure here to be able to get in and out of the van. And one feature that I really love, these are custom made for us here. So I can roll up this little middle section. And there's a little Velcro piece here that you can clip on, and then that's going to give you the access to still have your fold down exterior table and still have the bug net keeping all the bugs out. So some cool features there, or you can kind of have it in the full section here, and then we can go ahead and reverse it, get this whole thing zipped up and out of the way. All right, if you follow me inside the van, mentioned it earlier, but here we'll talk about the microwave. So this is a stainless steel marine grade microwave here. So the reason marine grade is because it's got additional vibration proofing in it. So standard microwaves, you know, if they're jiggling around a lot, they're not designed for it. They're designed to be in the house on a countertop. So these are designed with a little bit more durability and longevity in mind, specific for mobile applications. So this is an option that you can add on. You select the microwave. You will lose a little bit of overhead cabinet storage, but you get this built-in microwave, which is really great. And the outlet for the microwave is always included in the Metis 144. That's part of the standard base. You can use that outlet for other items as well. So toasters or blenders or other appliances can be plugged in there. But it's there, so that way if you opt to have the microwave, we swap out the cabinet and you can plug that microwave right into that outlet, so you're not having to mess with modifying the electrical system. Now, above here on the passenger and driver area, we have our headliner shelf, another option, a really popular one, and gives you some great storage. I really love our headliner shelf. There's a lot of companies making them, but I think a couple of things that set ours apart. It's upholstered and it does have a foam, so it's got a nice soft finish instead of being like a hard metal right there. And I think one of the best things is it still maintains access to the visor storage here, so you can use that as, you know, storage when you're sitting here in the driver and passenger seat. You'll see other ones that actually kind of line right up with that visor. So while it does technically make the storage bigger up here, you got to reach way back there to be able to even get to it. So I don't find it very functional, and I like the fact that we kind of create 2 tiers of storage with the visor and the headliner shelf. You still get lots of storage in here. So if you end up adding another one of our options, which is our magnetic window shades. So here's a window shade set. Includes all of the windows and fans that are in the van. So these are built out of an insulative material, and they're magnetic, so they're going to clip right on to the window frames. In the fans up here, we actually pull the shrouds down and we put magnets underneath the lip there so you don't see them, but it allows that shade to clip into place. And this set also is going to include all the windows up in the front of the van as well. So this is another option that you can select if you're going to be, if you want privacy, or you're going to be camping in cold or hot weather. It's a great option to add onto the van. Very, very common add-on for us. But the reason we don't have it standard is that some people might choose different types that they like better. But we really like these, and so those are the ones that we provide when you select that. Okay, so that's every option that was added on to the base Metis here inside. So let's jump outside the van and talk about some of the included options there. So right off the bat, you probably notice these great looking wheels and tires here. So this is our backcountry off-road package. It's going to include a full set of 5 wheels and tires. So these are our custom wheels. They are high-end hot flow forged manufactured wheel here in the United States. They exceed the manufacturer OEM specs, so they're going to give you a better ride quality both on and off-road. And then we wrap these wheels in some BFG TKO2 tires, and these are 265/70 R17. So factory wheel is a 16-inch wheel. These are upgraded to a 17-inch wheel, and then we're gonna, put those nice tires on there. So all 5, that includes a full spare. Now that will either be mounted directly where your factory spare goes, which is up underneath the back of the van. So it'll just take out your original spare, put a new full-size spare in. If you do opt for a backdoor carrier, ladder tire or something similar, then we can go ahead and put that tire on the back door as well. And that's just going to give you some easier access if you're off-road, you do happen to get stuck or get a flat. It's a lot easier to get that tire off the back door than it is to try and drop this tire down from underneath the vehicle, especially if you're actually stuck in the rear. It can be almost impossible to actually get access. So that's one of the big reasons for doing that. But in either event, you will have a full-size spare on board. Also included with the backcountry off-road package is a full suspension upgrade. So this is going to include a Add-A-Shock up here in the front. Now what's really cool about these is they are tunable just like a mountain bike fork, if you're familiar, where you can actually turn the suspension to firm or soft depending on what type of driving you are doing. There's also going to include with the backcountry off-road is a full suspension upgrade in the rear. That also includes a full set of Falcons. So this also has the adjustment knob back here in the rear. And we've also swapped out the leaf spring pack, and we weigh the vehicle and we put in the tuned leaf spring pack that matches the weight of your vehicle. So depending on what options you get, we will actually adjust the leaf spring pack to match. We got a lot going on this van, lots of different options that were included. So the immediate one you'll see here is the Fiamma awning. So this is a manual crank awning. It'll extend out about 8.5 feet. Has support legs that come down, so it's not the full self-supporting awning. And those legs can either be staked down into the ground, or you can utilize these clips that are mounted right here on the side of the van. So there's one here and one back here. And that allows you to actually clip the awning into the van. So if you're out in Utah on slick rock and you can't actually stake anything down, then you can still secure the awning to the van and keep it from blowing away if the wind picks up. So this awning can be added with or without the roof rack, but you'll notice this particular customer opted for the roof rack option. So these are full aluminum custom roof racks. They have a perforated decking, allows you to walk around on top. They're fully weight rated. So for stargazing, sleeping, hanging out, you have a weight rated deck on top. Also gives us the option to install additional components up there. Now it's not needed to install these components, but obviously gives us a nice place to just mount additional items to. Also on top up here is a Starlink. So Starlink is going to give you high-speed internet as long as you have line of sight to the sky. So that means anywhere in the country, even while you are driving. So this particular Starlink model is known as the in-motion version. So if you're traveling, working remotely, you just have kids in the vehicle and you're going for a cross-country trip, you're gonna be able to have that Wi-Fi access, connect to it just like you do every other Wi-Fi. You'll find your network once you turn the Starlink on, you'll log in. It's a monthly subscription that can be canceled or started up at any point in time. And it's a great option, again, if you just need that access all the time. So on the back of the van, we have lots of different options depending on your needs. We have, on this particular model, a rear door ladder tire combo. We can also do it as just a rear tire carrier if you don't need the ladder. But since this customer also got the roof rack, they wanted the ability to be able to climb up off the back. And they also actually did add a side mount ladder, which we'll talk about here in a second, and why one over the other. But this is a great option. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but the wheel and tire, by getting it onto the back door, it makes it easier to get access to it. If you do get into a pinch off-road, if you have a flat tire and need to swap it out, the factory spare tire is actually located up right under here, typically. And if you get the backcountry off-road, we can reinstall it right there, so you don't have to have the back door tire carrier. So that's where it will be. But once you do add this, then we're gonna remount this spare here. Again, just making it a lot easier to get access to. On this side here, we have our passenger side dual cargo box. Now, I really like the dual cargo box option versus just a single box. And the reason being that I think you can keep gear more organized in this fashion, as well as it kind of gives you some working areas to pull gear out, kind of stage it here on these as these drop downs, versus having one big door that swings out this way and having shelves in there. This can kind of help me if I'm working on a bike out here. I've got my bike propped up, I can have my tools. If I'm cooking outside, I can use this. So it's just kind of nice. And then, to have that on both of these just kind of gives you that nice tiered option there to be able to get your gear out. And you can use these for all sorts of different things. They're lockable, so they're gonna be secure. But you can use these for ski boots or ski gear, carrying firewood. You can put a generator in here. You can carry additional fuel. If you have muddy gear or wet gear that you don't want to throw inside the van, it's kind of a nice little utility area to just toss stuff in. So these boxes are the 19-inch boxes, and the typical 30-inch box, this is going to give you more space. This is going to be about 38 inches of total capacity here. It's the same width and depth. And you'll notice that it's pretty high up off the ground. So while it does extend the length of the vehicle, if you're going to park it, you can kind of back up over a curb or a planter box. And so you can extend that over the top because it is so high up. And even pulling in, for a vehicle, most passenger vehicles, their hoods are going to be down lower. So again, it kind of doesn't interfere too much with parking or finding spots like that, even though it does increase the length of the vehicle. So as you can see, there are lots of options both on the interior and on the exterior of the van that are going to allow you to customize your build, ensuring you get exactly what you want without paying for things you don't need. If you'd like to learn more about this model or any of our other models or options that I mentioned here in this video, make sure to check us out at titanvans.com. There, you can build and configure your van today, customize it just for you.